Welcome to the John Thomson Exhibition video blog, and I'm Yang-May Ooi. Today we are going to be talking about how John Thomson's work came to be rediscovered for a new generation, and I'm really excited to have Betty Yan, the co-curator of the John Thomson Exhibition. Welcome, Betty.
Thank you, Yang-May.
Right, now you rediscovered John Thomson's photographs. Can you tell us how that came about?
It was really quite by chance. One day, I was invited to the Wellcome Library for an event. And there, I was shown these wonderful images. And I just fell in love with them. Really, that's how it happened. And I then, several months later, volunteered to show them in China. As an overseas Chinese, I felt, oh wow, something that's so old, it's 150 years old from the late Qing period, would just not exist in China today.
So can I just rewind to the moment when you saw these? Were they in storage? Was it an exhibition? How did that all work?
No, we were attending an event there, looking at books, looking at various things, and I was shown some glass negatives and some contact prints. So it wasn't at all an exhibition, because Wellcome Library is part of a medical foundation, and these are just part of the huge collection made by Sir Henry Wellcome in the early 20th century, and because he loved photography. But as part of the remit of the Wellcome Trust, they don't do anything with it, because they're medical trusts.
So I seem to remember that Sir Henry Wellcome knew John Thomson.
Well, I'm not sure whether they met. What happened was very, very late in the life. Thomson was in his 80s already. He hobbled along to Wigmore Street and went to see an exhibition of Sir Henry's collection, his own collection, which included photographs of India, of Africa and other places, and he noticed there was nothing on China. And so he thought, why don't I write to Henry Wellcome, by then really a very famous philanthropist and collector, to see whether I can sell my 3 crates of glass negatives. So there are about nearly 700 glass negatives.
Wow,
yeah.
700 glass negatives that he sold to Sir Henry Wellcome, and they have been sitting safely.
Well, no, there's a twist to that story, because that was 1920, so Thomson wrote, there's an exchange of letters, but they did not agree the price, okay? There was some deal discussions, and then in 1921, Thomson died of a heart attack without making the sale. But luckily, because there was an exchange of letters, that they were able to, his heirs, his children, thought, well, what are we going to do with 3 huge, heavy boxes of glass negatives? You know, these came back with Thomson in 1872, and so they sold it for £20.
Wow.
Yeah, in 1921, and they've been there ever since.
Yeah. And so there's not been an exhibition of his work
Well, not in London as a proper exhibition, and certainly not for the whole 10 years of Asia. About 25-30 years ago, the British Council did a little small tour in North America, in Hong Kong, Singapore, various small things. And in Scotland, of course, the National Library of Scotland had a wonderful show. But again, you're talking about 25 years ago. So for London, this will be the first opportunity to see John Thomson's work of Asia.
That's exciting. Fantastic. And so now you, from that very fateful moment, that event, when you saw those photos and you fell in love with them and you decided, right, I'm going to do this, I'm going to show the world John Thomson's work. You've dedicated how many years of your life?
8 years. I mean, it's gone by very quickly.
That is a huge passion. And so why spend all this time and energy taking the photos out of storage, getting them printed, setting up exhibitions?
Well, it started with only one. Okay, that's always the cue. You start with one. I thought, as an overseas Chinese, and there's nothing like this existing in China today, why don't we just take it? So actually, I only took a 6-month leave from my previous job at Asia House, and I said, I'll just do this for fun, and I'll come back to work. But in fact, 8 years later,
Famous last words.
I'm still touring it, and I've taken it now to 20 different cities and museums around the world.
Oh my word. Can you name some of them?
Well, in China, we took it to seven cities, in fact. Of course, Beijing, then Nanjing, Hangzhou, in many places. Then we actually had a very successful tour to North America. We were in Washington, D.C., in Los Angeles, in Honolulu, in Dallas. Fun places, and it was very well received everywhere. And also in Northern and Southern Ireland, we did a coordinated 3-museum tour to Dublin, Limerick, and outside Belfast to Ballymena. So I've had lots of fun, but what's more important is the reception from the general public, whether you're a photographer or you love history, or they're young fashion designers coming to see these photographs to get inspiration, jewelry, furniture. It seems to speak to a wide range of audience, and that gives me a lot of joy. It goes back to that first moment, as you said, I just fell in love. And if I love them, I enjoy seeing them. Well, other people might too, and it's really on that premise that I've been at it for the last 8 years.
That's amazing. That's so exciting. And so just to give a flavour for people, what are the kinds of photos that people will see when they go to the exhibition?
Well, I think the first impression as you walk into the gallery will be the sheer size of them, given that they are 19th century, and the glass plates are about 9 by 5. And what we did was, when we discovered the quality, because under the care of the Wellcome Library, they've been extremely well preserved. It's actually very difficult to preserve glass negatives because one side is glass, one side is the emulsion, so the temperature has to be perfect to keep them in such good condition. So that's when we thought, by digitizing the whole negatives, more than what John Thomson originally intended, but to show you the whole negatives as you holding it in your hand.
Right.
So when we started, we thought, normal size, but then when we thought, let's take it to a bigger size. So we ended up with many exhibits over 1 meter in size. And that's probably the first surprise for the visitor, is how big, how beautiful, and how detailed. Therefore, you can see all the background, even the floor covering, the plants. All those things are very clear.
So
in
it's
the exhibits.
street scenes.
Yeah, street scene, lots of wonderful people, and that. Of course, I love John Thomson's beautiful architectural shots, because he studied, beside being a professional photographer, he loved art history. So a lot of his landscapes are framed as if they're painting, they're like tableaus. But his portraits are stunning, given how long it took, the exposure time, and we're talking about, this is 2 decades after the invention of photography. Thomson was lugging this equipment to Asia, traveling far and wide, and that he was able to capture the beautiful, the eyes, a lot of women, which again, I have a whole room of photographs of women from China, north and south, and they'll be accented by loads of 19th century robes that the women might have worn, so to add some colour to the black and white photos.
So in addition to actual just black and white photos from that time, we will see the robes that these women
might have worn. Yes,
worn,
from a similar era.
Yeah.
And also in the Siam section, we've actually studied a lot of these portraits, because they all have side tables with some teacups, some vessels, vases, And we've, again, from Thailand, we've borrowed some interesting pieces to add some context to
Wow,
the
so
photographs.
it's a kind of 3D experience that it's not just the photographs, but you'll get a chance to see the robes that the women might have worn, and have a look at the kinds of fabrics and the ceramics and the tea things that would be in the photos.
Yes.
How amazing, kind of bring it to life.
Yes,
yeah.
that's what we want.
Yeah.
And again, we want to make it relevant to visitors today. Of course, some people are very interested in 19th century history, but the reason why, having toured to 20 different cities and museums, actually we're close to hitting 1 million visitors worldwide.
Wow.
And so I hope London visitors will all come and add to that number, make it a million.
Yeah.
Is that they should be relevant to younger visitors today. Because a lot of the textile designers, jewelry makers, furniture makers, they'll wander around, and certain of the motifs and the way how actually men are beautifully dressed, and a lot of ornaments. They wore rings, and they have things on their beautiful belts. Much more than today with just a blue suit or a blazer or something. So we might inspire young designers to say, hey, let's try a different hairstyle, or let's try a different man's boots, just for fun, and add to the excitement of seeing a show like this that we think it's beyond. Well, first, of course, the photography is stunning. So anyone who loves to take pictures, whether with a more professional type of cameras or just doing a selfie. Actually, we have a John Thomson selfie, which we are going to say, oh, is this the first ever selfie? So that will be on display. And so it's to get something out of the show beyond just seeing the photographs, and that you learn something about the era, but also to get some inspiration for whatever work you do.
And also you can take home books that are on sale.
Oh yes, we have catalogues to the exhibition and the beautifully printed books. And also we're going to have some public lectures. In May we've invited Michael Wood, the television historian, to give a talk about his personal response to, he loved these photographs, and so he's going to talk about that. And in June we're going to have Richard Ovenden, who's written the most authoritative book on John Thomson, so he will give a public lecture, and these are all free. You just need to book via the website. And also we're happy to do any number of gallery tours, so anyone can contact the two curators and book a time for a small group of friends or society to come and join one of our more personal tour with the curators.
Gosh, how amazing is that? So you get to see photos, robes, tea decoration things, hear a talk by Michael Wood and Richard Ovenden. And if you want personally to meet Betty with your gang of friends and have a personal tour of the exhibition, and hear her passion straight from her mouth, right with her in the room, then just contact us through the website, and the details of the website are appearing at the bottom of your screen. Is there anything else that you'd like to say to everybody?
All it is to share. Come to see the show, and if you love the images like I did, just tell your friends. Just come along and have lots of fun.
Yeah, great. Share the passion. So the John Thomson Exhibition is called Through the Lens of John Thomson. It's at the Brunei Gallery in SOAS in London, and it runs from the 13th of April to the 23rd of June, and it's free, which is fantastic. So to find out more about the exhibition and all the events and the books and everything, and to contact Betty if you'd like to, go to the website, which is johnthomsonexhibition.org.
Thank you.
Thank you.